Imagine having a step by step strategy to move that manuscript of yours from good to great, knowing exactly what to do, who to do it with, so that you can transform that initial draft of yours into something your audience wants to read. Professionals have given you feedback on, and that you're proud to pass along. That's what we will be talking about today, how to really improve and amplify your manuscript, moving it from good to great by amplifying what works. Hey guys, it's Judith Glory. That is so happy and proud to be able to continue with you in this series on moving from idea to manuscript in 12 weeks. We are in week 10. Wow. I want to start by saying good job to the 4 or 5 of you connected. Good job being here. Good job keeping up. A lot of people give up along the way. A lot of people at some point feel that it's just too much. So for you that are here today, I'm glad, honored, and grateful for you. And I want you to stop and be thankful for you. Like the way, because you show up, you're confirming that this project, you like it. This project, you are determined to turn that idea into a book. And I think at some point today's session, you will receive again another share of that wonderful roasted chicken to say, good job with your manuscript. You have already set yourself aside from those who spend time thinking, I want to write a book, I have this book idea. If you have a manuscript you're working on to edit, good job. You've made the team of less than 10% who actually do that. And in today's life, we will spend time to look at ways to improve that manuscript into something you are so proud of. You can hear in the tone of my voice, I am so happy to and honored to be the one facilitating you in this journey. We have said in 2025, it's all about activating, liberating, bringing out, unleashing the super X in you. And this specific series is all about the super writer, the author in you. We want that author to be out. We want that message to be out. We want people to hear your voice. We want you to make the impact you want to make with your writing. So good job showing up. And let's roll in. Let's see how you can manage to turn that wonderful manuscript of yours into something you are so proud and grateful that makes an impact for your audience, for your family, and for yourself. How we do that? Hey, I suggest we elevate your manuscript by amplifying, looking what works, and doing more of that. Looking for what works and doing more of that. What does that mean, amplifying what works? How do you actually do that? And how do you identify what works? We will answer those questions like right away. I want to start with this beautiful quote that says, um, a great book is not written, it is rewritten. I want you to notice the rewritten. A great book, notice I didn't say a good book. A great book is not just written, it is rewritten. We want to stress the aspect of um embracing, taking the time and choosing to look for ways to tweak, to improve, to ensure the flow is not a waste of time. Depending on your personality and the type of person you are, some people will find it very painful, but some people love it, whether you like it naturally or no. Taking the time to ask for feedback, taking the time to collect the feedback, taking the time to integrate the feedback will turn your book from good to great. Why? Let's see why. What makes it so important to ask for the feedback? Yay, that special mate I was talking about. Yeah, I gave it last week and I wanted to continue to give it to you this week because hey, not everyone succeeds to have a manuscript. if you're watching this like right now, I feel like looking you in the eyes and saying, if you're watching this right now and actually somewhere on your computer or on plain sheets of paper, you have a manuscript, good job. Sit down and enjoy this perfectly roasted meat. You deserve it. You did something. As it's on its own an achievement. Why should it? Well, because now you'll not be talking just about I have a book idea I always dreamed of. I have a book. Do you want to read it? It's a Word. Can I send it to you? It's a PDF. Or maybe you've already compiled it into a wonderful thing, printed version. Hey, you got days. That manuscript is couple pages, 100, 200. I don't know how much you got down, but you have something in your hands. And because of that, you got a lot of reasons to be happy, to be proud, and to celebrate yourself. So enjoy. I feel you receive and accept this wonderfully roasted meat to say good job. And if you're not a meat eater, please just replace it with some kind of vegetable, whatever you prefer. Do something to honor and celebrate your first draft. And we say we want to turn this draft into a great book. So, what makes it important to really stop and ask for feedback? Well, asking for feedback will help you to catch things that naturally you cannot. To illustrate it, I like to sometimes to say, well, can I cannot see my back. I don't know if when I was leaving this morning, kids put something on my back. If they did, I'm not seeing it. I can try with my hand to reach to a certain point, but if they actually pasted something weird, sometimes kids can do that. If they pasted something on my back, I'm not seeing it. So I will not be able to become aware or to remove it because I'm not seeing it. It's the same thing with your writing. You've been so merged, that vision, those mind map is your thing. But if there's something else, another perspective, something that is you will not see it because you're so much like, have you ever heard things like someone comes in your home for the first time, they're like, oh, there's this other or there's this, you don't feel it because you live there. You've been so immersed, especially if you go into the house of maybe people smoking, and well, they've been so used, they've lived, they've bred, they've soaked into the smoke odor that they it's fine for them. But because you come from the outside and you're not used to it, you can easily pick that extra thing. That is what the eyes of your reviewer, that's what they would do to your manuscript. And that's the value of seeking feedback. They will catch things that you will not catch because you're so immersed in your thing. That's one value why asking feedback to reviewers will help. Asking feedback from reviewers will also allow you to get a comprehensive, another set of eyes. They'll give, depending on who you ask to. If you ask to people who love books, they can give you feedback on how your book um, flows as compared to other books in the category. That's where asking feedback, say to professional editors or people who have experience in the type of book you are writing, they can give you really very specific feedback that you will not have in general. Well, depending on the type of book you're writing, and more from kind of the coaching consulting, we know the expertise, we know the value, the technicalities, but the literary aspect of it, we don't know. So having someone professional, a professional editor give you feedback, a writing coach will just improve your book because they know that books in your category tend to have this format organized like this and can be developed into this way or that other flow. So this is another reason why it helps to go and ask for feedback. Hey, a third reason why getting the feedback of other people, I like to say, If we forget the industry, if we forget the professional, just giving the book to, I don't know, an 8 year, 9 year who loves to read, and just ask them how they feel, what they liked, what they enjoyed, always has great value. If it was tough to read, they'll tell you it was tough to read. If it made them sleep, they'll tell you it made them sleep. So these like neutral people, they just like reading, can also give you meaningful feedback on the flow, the tone, the pace, the complexity or simplicity. If there are lots of things that are repetitive in your book, all these categories of people are people who can give feedback about your manuscript to improve it, moving it from a good into a great book. That's the value of asking for feedback. And again, they will pick things that you have not picked yet. Which brings me to this question that I really feel like typing into the chat. Have you shared your manuscript with someone yet? Um, have you shared your manuscript with anyone? And if you have not, why? If there are some errors, please be patient with me. I'm typing live. Maybe I should find a way to have this ready. I'm working on that. Judith, progress, not perfection. So I will display this. Have you shared your manuscript with anyone yet? And I will insist on this. Why? Um, because a lot of people don't. A lot of artists don't. They find it difficult to share their creative work. Um, it's kind of difficult, and sometimes the little voice you will hear is, oh, no good. Oh, no, no, they will laugh at it. Oh, really? Especially when it's your first time. That little voice, the inner critic, the evil DJ, as I like to call it, sometimes will say, oh, Judy, who told you you were a writer? Really? They'll just mock you, all sorts of things. And because of the fear to be mocked at you, that people will laugh at you, you hold back. Don't allow this to happen. Please, I'm pleading. Don't allow this to happen. Have you noticed that there is the future? It's not something, has it happened yet? No, it's just a probability. And it's not a 100% probability if done mathematics. Like we could have like 50-50 or maybe 35-35, because they may say bad, good, neutral. So there's no 100% chance that they will say it is not good. Um, which leaves a certain percentage. They could actually say it's good. They could actually say they got value from it. Or even if they say, oh, it's neutral, it's not bad. Yeah, that's people that read your book and say it's not bad. So don't shy away from feedback. Please don't shy away from feedback. At the contrary, I'm offering today to take feedback as a gift. Ah, Judy, you don't know what you talk about. They will just slash my thing. I have people who like to mock. It's possible that you may have people like that around you. Then what? They said the manuscript, not Judith. The manuscript, not you. What if what I do is not good? Maybe it means I'm not. And this is what I want to bring up here. There's a difference between you, your identity, and that manuscript. Please don't allow the book. I see a lot of people be held back a lot. And while we are talking about book, but I'm seeing the same pattern at work. People who don't dare to share their ideas or step up or speak up, well, they will say this is a dumb idea, it's idiot. It's the idea. You just throw it away. This color, do you like this? No. And then you just put it back when you go and when you're shopping. Oh, mom, do you like it? Or honey, do you like it? And would you say because you pick something and they say it's not good, feel like, oh, I'm bad? What link? And have you noticed it's their point of view, has nothing to do with you. Don't shy away from feedback. I want to offer this different perspective. Hey, what if you share? Let's start with the scenario where what if they actually say it's good? Yeah, I actually got some value from it. Yes, don't stop there. What did you like about the book? The flow, the story, the illustration was easy. Ask them, because the more they tell you about what they liked, you are getting feedback on what is working on your manuscript. You're getting feedback on the things that your potential reader or editors or whomever they are giving you, they are telling you what is working. You want to know what is working. Why, Judith? Because knowing that the stories, the flow, or the simplicity is there, how can you replicate that throughout your book? And even just that one thing that you get the feedback is working, being able to replicate that throughout the manuscript, it's already a win. It's already a win. Your manuscript will not be like it was last week. You just implemented something that the actual reader went through and they say they loved it. So if they will read it this time, they'll find that that thing they love is coming again and again in the book. Okay, well, Judith, well, that's if they say they love it. What if they say, it's more natural? It was there, nothing really exceptional. Excellent. You got another beautiful gift. The gift of feedback they told you is just well there. Now you can ask them what could have been found, what ways, what did you expect to get and you didn't have when you read in the book? Well, if it had more bam, good things to change, to add, or to improve in your manuscript. And that's why I say, please don't go. Feedback is gold. As it's painful, I know that. A no, not good. I hate it. It can really like it can break your heart. But it can break your heart if your identity is attached to the thing. How about detaching those? It's just a feedback. It simply means it's like you're cooking something. Maybe I'll use this illustration if it can help. If you're cooking a meat, you're making a recipe and then pancakes for example, and then the first batch you get out and then you have it people from the family to taste it and they're like too sweet. Do you cry and just go, oh, I'm bad, I'm a poor cook? Hey, what is missing? Maybe add more sugar or more vanilla or more this. It's just feedback. And as you dare to ask for what will make it more tasty, and then you add it, you are improving your recipe, you are improving your pancakes. And at the end of the day, they will eat it, they will enjoy it, it will be good. It's exactly the same thing with your book. Don't please shy away from feedback. And the idea is when they say that thing that you feel is breaking your heart, neutral or not good, thank you for the feedback. What could have made it more enjoyable to you? Well, I hope to have a more practical illustration of the concepts explained. Um, Maybe more stories. It was very scholar. Oh, okay, I hear. What would have made it less scholar? Ask them. And sometimes, if the people giving you the feedback are the type of very naysayers, those who've never done anything and they're just here to bring you down, when you give them back the question, what could have been done to make it better? You will notice them, they were not expecting that. Maybe they'll break you and then don't forget about the project. But as you ask them, hmm, I don't know, I didn't just like it. What could have made you like? Keep asking them because the little insight they can give you, maybe written simply, maybe having more real cases, maybe having more crispy detail, maybe adding more storytelling, All of these are good points, as we will see later on in the life. These are concrete feedback you can act, you can act on. Yeah, Judy, you're pronouncing well. You want to say act, but you're thinking add. Yes, this is good feedback that you can actually act on. Whether it is, oh, I didn't like the whole thing because it was practical. What does that mean? More them. That's a feedback. More illustration. How can I illustrate the concept? Oh, I need more vivid detail. They want you to really paint the picture, show, don't tell. This is crispy feedback. So how can I provide more adjective, more description into what I'm talking about? Feedback is gold. Please don't shy away from the feedback. So I will show the question again. Have you shared your manuscript with anyone yet? I hope the answer is yes. If you've not, as you're listening and watching this now, who is coming to mind? Who could be someone can just give you feedback? How about you text them now? Put a pause on the live and text them. Hey, do you wanna? I'm sending something over. Please do. Don't shy away from asking for feedback, because that feedback, as we said a couple minutes ago, the feedback will allow you to pick the blind spot, the things you're not seeing, the things you didn't think about because you're so merged in your thinking, in your idea of the book. Second point, asking for feedback will allow you to just get general feedback on the overall clarity, tone, pace, how easy to read, how engaging it is from other people from various backgrounds, your domain or no. And then asking the feedback will also allow you to get specific things to make that book go from good to great, because no matter what they say, I like it, what did you like, you can do more of that. Neutral, what could I've done to make it more interesting, they'll give you some hints. Oh, I didn't like it at all, why, you know the things to correct, to fix, to cut, or to remove from the book. So that's why it is important. That's the value of asking for feedback. So um we understand the value, Judith. So how do we choose the people to ask feedback to? I suggest three categories of people. This is just my suggestion. It doesn't have to be only those people. In general, I like to say, ask feedback from everyone in your fan base. Those people, yeah, Judith, go for the book. People in your family, yeah, I always believe you could be a writer. Your mom, your grandmom, if they can read, they can give feedback. Yes, they are encouraging, but at least they'll have their eyes on your manuscript and they can pick syntax, pairs, errors, just general errors like that. You could also ask first category, like the non-negotiable, like the ideal first category. I want you to think about the target audience. And that's why since week one, I said groups. Who I'm writing a book for that target audience. Who are they? I hope by now you are in those Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp groups for that target audience, where you're listening to what they're saying, listening to what they care about, and that actually this manuscript was written taking into consideration what you've been hearing in those groups. My invitation is, right after this live, go and post on that group. Hey, the book we've been talking about, I have a raw draft. Are there some people willing to give me feedback? It is rare that you would go in such groups and ask, and no one will say, yeah, it's rare. In general, you have at least one or two or more. One or two or more. So your target, the specific people you're writing the book for. What makes also important for you to go and ask the feedback to that audience? Well, these are the people who validate that the promise of the book has been kept in what they actually got, which is important. You don't want to say the book is about, what is on the back cover of the book, and then they read and the book is something else. You need to have like people who can actually go through, I don't know, if you're writing a book about recipe, people who can test those recipe. If you're writing about an IT framework, people who can give it a try. If you're writing about a coaching approach, who can try it and give you feedback if it's working, if your step by step recommendation makes sense, if it's too complex, too jumbling, or too long. You need concrete people who are supposed to act on what you recommended and say, oh, it's actually working. No, the instructions were not clear. These are also other reasons why it's good to ask feedback to your target audience. The second category I recommend you ask feedback to are the people, what I call the beta testers. These are people who like to read, they love books, they spend their time in books. Do you have friends who work in the library? Sometimes they like book, or maybe just around you. There are some moms. They're saying they read a lot of books. These moms in book clubs. Um, there may not be people from your industry or the target industry, but they know books and they can give you feedback. Was it clear? Was it easy to read? Was the flow okay? This kind of general, structural kind of feedback, these people can give you the feedback and they are of great value because beyond the technicalities of your book, was it simple to read? What was the message clear? Did they get it? Um, were there some repetitive sections in your book? Do they feel it was too jumpy? They can give you the feedback on that, which is valuable feedback. And that's why last week I was like, look around you. Do you have kids who like to read? Or do you know people who have kids? And I talk about kids because, in general, if you can write a book in a very simple way, like someone who is 8 years old can read and understand, it's good. Why? The level is really, it's simple. Simple is always better. Simple, even if you are writing, I don't know, on very high level subject, but if you keep the language simple, the simpler it is, the easier it is to read, and people will get your message faster. Do you want to write a book that, okay, it's just an elite with a certain level of intellectuality can understand? Is that what you want? In general, no. And these beta testers are people who read all sorts of book, and they can give you that meaningful feedback on tone, pace, flow, ease of read, engagement, if they were captivated. The third category of testers I suggest you go and ask feedback to, these are professional. These are professional editors or writing coaches. Not only they know what is going on in books, but they know the types of books, the qualities of books in your industry, in your genre. So it's like I'm talking too fast. So take a deep breath, Judith. We are almost halfway through. The more slides, whatever needs to be said will be said. Yeah. The third category is those professional editors because they'll give you professional feedback. They'll tell you things like book in your categories now. Before it was like this now, and these are the various direction you can go with it. You can format it. This is how you can leverage this content. Guys, they can really give meaningful feedback. And that's why I was saying last week, personally, it's Judith thing. It's not like a professional recommendation that this is you have to do. If you don't do this, you cannot publish your book. But I personally feel for the books I've done, if you want to money, spend that money to get a great editor, because the great editor will just put your book at another level. They'll bring another perspective you don't have. At some point, I work on a book project with the editor who went beyond just doing the editing structural form of the book to say, Judy, do you actually know this content could be developed into something else, a course in general in your category? And they gave me example of books in the same kind of category of the book I was writing. This is how it's formatted. And as I followed their advice, I could see the difference. So, third category is professional editors or writing coaches. So, you know the type, the categories of people you can go and ask feedback to. Personally, another Judy thing, ask feedback to anyone on your fan base. I think I told you, mom, family, they're supportive. Just give it to them. The marketing, the people who will do the book cover, give it to them. The person who will do the design, as they read the book, they get into the spirit of the book and they can create a cover that really brings that message out. But in the process, when you get back to them, you're not going to ask them how they were inspired for the cover, but you could also ask them what did they like about the book. The general, I'm going to keep the questions in a couple minutes. Just the general point of what did they like about the book and what made them like that, and the flow, the structure, just general questions they can answer, even though it's just a cover designer. They can give their own. If it was painful to read, they will tell you it was painful, like it wasn't really clear, which is meaningful feedback. Same for the marketers, people that you want to include in your launch team. So in general, I would say anyone involved, fan base, book cover, marketing, give them the book and ask for feedback. But the three categories that are like the non-negotiable: one, target audience, the groups where they're talking about that topic, ask them. Second category, people who love books, who spend their time in the book and can give you feedback on the structure, the flow, the clarity, and the simplicity. And then third category, professionals who can give you feedback on your category, genre, and best ways to organize and give that message, that content today. So now you have an idea on who you can go and ask feedback to. The next thing I want to ask you, what do you actually ask them? You know the type of people. What do you ask them? I think I'll disappear to allow you to capture this page with the questions. I think no, you can see the questions. Hey, again, here it's all about starting with let's go and look for what is working, what is good. Have you noticed it's like 3 or 4 questions? What did they like? What was engaging? What caught their attention? And it's only after that you ask about what was confusing, what was repetitive, what they thought about the tone, the pacing, the transitions. And I want to really take the time to talk about question one. Why am I insisting on amplifying what works? Because naturally we have the tendency to lean towards what is not working. Research shows that a lot of research, not just one. If you have a good day, one good thing happen, two good things happen, and then one bad thing happens, there's great chance later at the end of the day people ask you, how was your day? Oh, I had a bad day. Two good things happen, but you just focus on the bad thing. We lean towards three for one. So it takes three good things for one bad thing for us to say it was a good day. And in relationships, it's even worse. It's 5 for 1. That Goldman research got me like, whoa, yeah. And just look around you in general. And that's why, like, these are the things I talk about in the gratitude content. We have the natural tendency to just, oh, it's bad, it's tough, it's this. Naturally, we are like that. And imagine approaching your editing with that mindset, oh, it's bad. If you already feel inside, oh, I'm not good, not sure, that hesitation, and then you go and ask them, oh, should it really, I don't know, what caused you to really want to write this book? It will just break you if you allow. If you allow. So my recommendation, start by asking them, what did you like about the book? It could be, oh, I just like the title. I couldn't read it all. Yay, we have something good here. The title or the cover or the stories. Oh, I like the illustration. Excellent. And when they say something, what else? You want to go and gather as much as possible what is working. Because when you know what is working, you can go and replicate. If they said it's the title, just the initial or the titles in general. Oh, the initial. What else? You also, there was a story around them. They like story, and the specific story is just that specific story or more. Get them to talk as much as possible about what is working, guys. Why? They are giving you the recipe of what is good on your manuscript. And when you know, oh, stories, oh, practical illustration, oh, it was short and sweet. Stories, practical illustration, short and sweet. When you go and reread your chapters, do I have a story? Is it illustrated? Is it short and sweet? And as you just do these three things, you are improving your manuscript. You're moving it from a good to a great book. And that's why I entitled the sessions today, Look and Amplify What is Good. Do you notice the energy since I'm talking about that? And that's the reality. When we start something, oh, I love this. Oh, this was cool. It's empowering. It gives energy. You feel strong and you can run with that. But if you go and start to approach the feedback portion, hey, what is it there to be fixed on the mat? Okay, you're already coming with the fixing. What is broken? What are you doing with what is working? And so many, like most of us, we tend to function like that. Even look, if you have kids, um, I don't know what type of parent you are, but there are some parents when they get the report card, they'll quickly browse through looking for where we have C's and B's, but they don't see the A's. And sometimes it's painful. Would you be happy working for a leader or having a father that even if you had three A's, they'll just spend 10 or 15 minutes reporting on discussing your report card to just talk about the B's that you had? I don't want that. It's just like it's never enough, because even when you do good things, and I've worked with leaders like that, you do great things, but they'll find a way to just talk about the mini thing. It was not on time, but not every well, what about this beautiful thing? The thing was delivered on time. We want you to be that author who is aware, knows, amplify, and celebrates what is working, because it's empowering, it's building, gives you energy. When you hear that person say, I love stories in your manuscript. I love the way you move. You brought the concept to life. Oh, this is something that I do well. Am I doing that already in all the chapters? How can I do that in all the chapters? And as you do just that, this very person, if they read it, oh wow, you did it everywhere. Great. That's a win. So imagine when they give you feedback like that, go for what is working and ways to do even more of that. Now I can hear, and sometimes in coaching sessions, people will say, ha ha ha, surgery is like you just live in the land of what is good. But the reality is, there are some things that are not good. Yes. And that's where I say, receive feedback as a gift. Thank you for the feedback. Don't stop. What is important when we get constructive feedback is, what do you do with it? Do you just take it? Oh, it means I am not separate. That it's just it. Feedback. The recipe is too tasty, too much salt. Just remove, change, and correct. Has nothing to do with you. Please don't don't take constructive feedback as, I'm not a writer. I'm not good at this. And when people talk like that and we're in a coaching session, I will look you in the eye and ask the link between too much salt and you. I'm not seeing the link. It's just too much salt. So that's where, when you get that constructive feedback, what do you do after? And my offer, when you get that constructive feedback, first, thank you for the feedback. They gave you something too much salt, too complex, not simple, low flow. Oh, thank you for taking the time. What could we do so that it flows easier? What could we do to make it more enjoyable? What recommendation to make it more appealing to you? Bam, you're moving from the negative, nah, it's not working, to, well, how can we improve? How can we transform this thing into something good? And that's what, there's so much that feedback can offer, but we need to change them, switch the mindset. Oh, it's not that they've said, Judith, you're not a writer. What kind of accent? And then you just take it personal and you cry and it's like, I'm bad. Please don't do that. Thank you for the feedback. What could be added? What could be done? How else can we make this appealing to you? If this was your book, what would you add? Yes, you are creating, you're building, you are learning, you're transforming this thing that they're saying you don't have into something you could have. Because as they tell you, more story. Where can I get more stories, more illustration, more? And the next iteration of the book has the story, has the illustration. You just improved. You just made that manuscript from good to great. So don't let the feedback, especially the constructive one, hold you back, please. Feedback is it, really it. Just feedback. Just feedback. Take it and tweak your recipe. Continue to improve. That's the way even great cooks, they create new things. Some people are excellent, like first try something, but most people, it takes iteration, and it takes courage to accept, and it takes the learning mindset. Yeah, what can I learn? How can I improve? Growth mindset. And it's my invitation. When you ask these questions, start with what is working so you can repeat it, and then confusion, repetition, da, 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 didn't like it. How can we make it work? So this is what I suggest, to go and ask your people who will be giving you the feedback. Now I thought about organizing the concrete actions I'm recommending in steps. I'll do a quick recap here. We've been talking about the importance of asking feedback and improving your manuscript with the feedback. One, we talked about why it's important, allow you to pick things, your blind spot, allow you to get new eyes, new perspective, allow you to have a feedback, clarity, flow, ease, message, allow you to get professional feedback. And who we talked about, the target audience in the groups you are part of. We also talked about people who may not be from your industry, but they love book and can give you feedback on clarity, syntax, flow. We also talked about professional. And then I just offered some questions you could, from a place, from a vantage of what is working, so we can do more. Let's go look. Let's tell me what is working. Tell, so I can do that. Question number one. And then for the constructive portion, what is repetitive? What is confusing? What can be done to improve it? Build with them. So now I'm giving concrete step by step that you can take to really improve the wonderful manuscript of yours. Step one, find a way to like gather all that feedback. Concretely, what does that mean? Maybe the audiences that you, the people who give you the feedback, where are they? Are they in WhatsApp groups? Are they in Facebook groups? Are they on LinkedIn? How will you reach them? Google Doc, a survey can do that very well. This is if people like comfortable with computers, but that could be one way. So decide on that. It could also be, sometimes I would do a WhatsApp message and then give the questions. What did you like? Which portions? what could be improved. I'll record a voice memo and then just ask them, read a question and provide the feedback. You know your people. Um, know a lady who likes to read, but she's not a Google form kind of person. So this voice memo works for her, and she'll also do voice memo that I will transcribe and get the feedback. So organize the way you will collect the feedback, step number one. And when you collect that feedback, organize it in categories. They will say a lot of things. Oh, it was complex to read. I didn't understand this. There were stories here. I love the practical, the actionable. Put it in category. Are we talking structure here? Are we talking things that captivate their attention? Are we talking the general flow? Being able to organize the various feedbacks is good because, like in that Excel, you have like 4, 5, 6 feedback around structure, 4 on engagement, and tracking how you are doing the changes. You can get a lot of feedback. And at the last point I'm suggesting is when you look at all the feedback in the various categories, you are not obliged to act on all of them. Mm, Julius, yeah. It may sound confusing, but it's not. You gather all the feedback. It's great feedback. Any feedback is always good feedback. Now, do you have a timeline? Because you can edit your book for like years. Um, what are you trying to achieve by when? We'll talk some more about timeline in a couple minutes. If, for example, you really want to clean this draft, have the professional eyes and have it ready, maybe to submit to an agency or to publish, because there's this conference in your industry and you want to put it on your website or on Amazon to get it ready because you'll be on a panel. Can you really afford to do the 100, to act on the 100 feedback you receive? Maybe not. So as you collect the feedback in categories, which one are the most meaningful, impactful ones? These are the ones you will choose. The key point I'm trying to make: gather everything, but you're not obliged to action all of them at once. Gathering them is important, and that's what will make, sometimes you will see people write, oh, I don't know how to crush your end of year review and grow your career, and then a year or two after there's a version 2. The small feedback that has come, and as a writer, it's a good thing to do to improve. That shows movement, engagement with your community. So gather, collect, organize. That's step number one. How will you gather the feedback, classify them into categories, and look and choose which one you want to transform? That's step one. Step two, what do you do after you've organized? Hey, this is like my preferred one. What is good? What is good? Double down um, on everything they say that is working. Personally, I feel this advanced editing is really about strengthening what is working. On all the feedback that they've given, what are they saying is working? Make time for that. I assure you that if you just do this and really apply the good things that they've pointed you to in all the book, that's a different book. Just give it to them again to read. You will see how, whoa, okay, just that one. So don't rush on this one. I cut the unnecessary things, cut the repetitive ones. But if they told you the stories you tell are good, can you find more stories? Can you illustrate more? Can you build more cases and ensure throughout the book those things are there? Whoa, not only they'll continue to get what they liked, but you're also showing some kind of consistency throughout your book. So really Make time to double down on what they say it's working. Another recommendation in general that I want to give, I know people like stories. You doubt. Next time you are with friends, with colleagues, you're together and then you're doing something. Hey guys, once upon there was. People, when people hear it's like a story is coming in general, why? People like stories. That's why observe a lot of great speakers, C-suite, people who have to sell vision. If you look very well at some point, great presenters, there's a story somewhere. Why? Stories get the attention of people. So work on your ability to tell story. How can you tell, give that message, learning with a story? If you can add story, try and see by yourself. Another thing is like show, don't tell. The difference is the illustration, paint the picture. It's like the adjective to really describe the scene, describe the person. I don't know the type of book you are writing, but being able to really show has another layer where you actually describe the things, the people, the emotion, the context. It's like you're taking the reader and putting them in the scene. People like this kind of vivid, like it's like they are innate. This is another aspect. If you can work on that. And then third thing I'm suggesting you do to really strengthen your manuscript, please cut the extra. I know there was a time, maybe not now, but there was a time when people were proud. Yeah, I wrote a book. It's like 300 pages. People were proud to say I wrote a big book. Big doesn't necessarily mean good, and people will find it boring if you say repetitive things or things that are not relevant, especially in this day and age. And that's why book summaries, 5 minutes, they are so successful. People want the gist of the book. So if you have some things that repeat, if your reviewer told you, oh, you talk so much about this, it's repetitive, cut it. The point is made. Instead of adding more repeating things to beef the book, to make it look book big, cut it out from the book and just keep the essence. But that essence that is powerful, that they told you they like, give them what they say they enjoyed, what they found impactful, what caught and kept their attention, and remove all the extra. Nobody has time for extra. And I think I told you last week the extra will cost you. Why would you pay extra money for extra that nobody needs? Whether you pay for a professional editor, in general it is billed per number of words. So the more you add extra words not needed, the cost will be higher. Same for like the last proofreading to ensure everything is clean. All in general in the writing world, if you're doing like independent publishing, if you need the eyes of someone else, they will charge you per number of words. And all that extra, why give extra money for it when people don't need it? And at the end, it's even boring for them. They'll go and make reviews saying that there's a lot of repetition in your book. Is that what you want? Cut the extra. So, step number two, double down, insist, amplify, make time to really ensure what they told you is working is done throughout the book. Judy, you're told 5 minutes to leave the studio. So let's activate step number three. When you're strengthening the right session, the next thing I advise you do is to do the polishing. I thought that I told you about the beta readers who give you feedback on the readability, the transition, the flow. This is important because the easier the book is to read, the better. And one strategy I offered last week, I'll repeat it today. I don't know if you try. If you try, how did you find it? Listen to your book aloud. Listen, take the time to read, because if you have a very good book with great concept, But the introduction, a lot of grammar error, vocabulary, people will just drop the thing. Please don't allow your wonderful work to be discarded because of some grammar thing. Do your reading and don't always like trust the automatic corrections of words. Go through it yourself, please. And listen to it. I will listen to it before having my eyes on them. The listening to it will, it's heavy, it's kind of complex. Allows you to pick maybe where it's too jumbo, too complex, it's too much. When you just listen to it, I told you last week I use Sumatra PDF. Sumatra PDF, I think is free. If you use portable apps, maybe I'll put that in the comments. It's an app that can allow you to read PDFs aloud. So you can move your manuscript into a PDF file, and then you take that PDF, you put on your phone, you just put your ear, you open some other PDF, and you go for a walk. You will listen. Hmm, how did you feel? Were you able to follow through, or you just got lost? But if there are places that you feel, oh, it's kind of just note or highlight, because when you go back, you listen, what do I need to fix here? But step number three is all about make it easy to read and no error. And there's still another step to come, which is I think about the timeline. Um, where you really need to like the final reviews of your book. You will listen, you will integrate, you will take the time to look at the grammar, but it needs to be kind of a calendar of editing. By when do you want this editing to be over? I told you you can do an editing for years. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? And I think last week, or maybe even on this slide, select a date on your calendar for when you want to have this finished. When you know, hey, I gave the example. If you're presenting, for example, a conference happening in general, those things between May, June, July, summertime, if you're presenting somewhere in July and you want that book published, by when, depending on that date, you want that ready for that conference, some printed copies in July. By when you want to have finished with the editing and the book cover so that it goes on Amazon or at that editor. Work from when I need this book down to okay, the editing needs to be completed. When you know that for that conference I need the book, it takes a date. You cannot just okay, and when you know that ideal date, cut it down. The sessions we said last week, use the time you used to write to do the editing. And it can look something like on Monday, I check the structure. On Tuesday, I check the engagement, how captivating. On Thursday, I will work on the flow. You know what works best for you. I don't want to be prescriptive. You know your way of working. But that Excel sheet I told about is great, where you have gathered all the feedback per category. You know that I have like 4 tasks in terms of structure, 7 tasks in terms of engagement. And then, you know, even if I have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, I can go and look at this. I can work on the flow. I can do more storytelling because they say they like story. When you have that Excel sheet and then time block, it's good. It makes this more structure and less overwhelming. And you see you can do it. You can see the progress as you do it. You take done, 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 done. You see you're getting closer to that finished thing that you are so eager to give to that professional. I took the feedback. This is what it sounds and look like now. What a joy. So the step number 4 is really the calendar plan. What are you doing by when? So that you can submit, you can publish, you can do that thing you want to do at the time plan with your finished manuscript. So, action item, oh my God, Judith, it's time to go. Your editing, the action items for this week. Feedback, feedback, feedback. Please, we asked last week, it'll be great. Now it's not, it will be great. You want to write a great book? Please select at least two, three. Ideally, I would say if two, three per each category, like the target audience, two, three. A beta tester, those who give clarity tone, those who live in the world of books, and then third category, professional one. Ask for feedback, and then as you get that feedback, what do they say is working well? Put that on your agenda to check and look how you can do more of that. That's the second thing. And then the third point, action item for this week, deadline. Please, we need a date. We need a date. By when do you want to have finished this round of editing? As you do this, you will be turning that good manuscript into a great one. And yeah, your book is actually taking shape. Really, it is. It is. I told you just that one thing. If they say one thing is working well and you do that throughout and you read your book, you yourself will see, oh, something is coming up here. It's excellent. Just give it a try and see by yourself. I love this quote when I was preparing the slides. A good writer writes, but a great writer rewrites with feedback. What do you think? What do you think a great writer rewrites, taking into consideration, integrating the feedback of other people, the beta readers? We talked about, yeah, I'm getting out. It's time to go. Hey, 10 weeks, just 2 more weeks. See how far you've come. And that book is taking shape. You have a manuscript. Hey, stop and celebrate and enjoy. And if you've not, please don't forget to take part of that roasted chicken next week. We're going like through the final steps of that manuscript where we're going to go and check that the final thing aligns with the message. You remember, I want to write a book for the audience, importance to give. There's a message you want to give, and we will go even further to expand that into the legacy that you want to leave regarding that message. So how is your current book, the manuscript, the edited, the great book it's becoming, is aligned with the message you wanted to give and the bigger message of your life, the purpose, the legacy that you want to leave? Oh, next we will talk a lot about alignment with purpose, alignment with vision, alignment with your message as a writer. Watch Judith Glory. Thank you for the extra minutes. I enjoyed every bit of it, as you can see. Action, action. Look for feedback, get feedback, and strengthen, amplify what is working. Looking forward to continue this with you next week, same time, 12 EST in English, 10 EST in French. Any question, comment that will help you go, continue, and keep moving, let us know, and let's grow together. Bye.